looked at human beings from 3,000 years ago to human beings of today, we're moving in a general direction of a much more positive culture.
Right,
and
but it doesn't feel like that.
Does to me.
To me, it does too.
Racism is negative. We both agree, right?
Right, 100%.
Racism's a terrible
but it can't
thing.
be depleted.
But don't you think it can be shunned out of society slowly but surely if people realize there's repercussions for racism?
Repercussions, but then you're operating from a fear. That doesn't mean that you're not racist because you're afraid to say it.
No, but people realize that, you know, it hurts people's feelings. It causes all sorts of issues and. No.
Human beings, especially when they're in, and I've learned this all the time, when they're in a spot where they're fundamentally unhappy, it's very easy for them to lash out.
It is.
And so if you find someone who's just miserable, right, who doesn't, have, I don't know, the career, the girl, whatever it is, that person is much more likely to say something that's vitriolic. And that's the human condition. Like, you're not happy, so you lash out at someone else.
I agree with you, but don't you think that human beings in general are less racist today, certainly less racist publicly in America than 1950?
Oh my gosh, yes,
right?
no questions asked.
So
America
68 years ago, if we go back 68 years ago, the world has changed for the better today.
100% in terms of like the social progress that we've made, especially in America.
Do you think it's possible that 68 years from now, we could at least come very close to eradicating racism?
That's a very good question. So if you're talking about just America?
Yes. Well, let's just go with America because it's...
You know, I know my job is to stop these videos and give you my piece, give you my spill. Sometimes though, when I'm checking out Joe Rogan, and I've been checking out Candace Owens as well, trying to get to know her. But overall, Joe Rogan has one of the best podcasting styles where, first of all, he don't dress all stuffy with a suit and tie every single time. Not that that's a bad thing, but I like the fact that he's more laid back with his style. But he communicates with every single person that comes on his channel the exact same way, with respect, patience, with understanding, and he never raises his voice. I don't care how, even if it gets to a debate style, like we're going back and forth, he's still going to be at that same controlled level. And that right there, that's a power flex right there, man. Shout out to Joe Rogan and Candace.
So let's just wrap it up because I don't know what's going on in China or wherever.
I don't know.
There's some places where racism is just deep.
Yeah, it's
seated, and they
deep seated.
accept
It's never going to go away. Yeah. So that's why I say like racism
I don't know, never go away
because they change it up. Because then they'll say Americans are racist towards Muslims, right? When you say that you're going to do the Muslim ban from certain countries, and that's also considered like racism, and not just like,
I wish we just stopped saying a damn word so much. What the hell does it mean? In my opinion, I think that word is just dumb now. It's pointless. It has no power. Everybody has they have their teams that they root for, period. And if they don't have a team that they root for, they're rooting for their family or themselves first and foremost. And until you become an issue in their life, I don't care if it's something that they're used to hearing or growing up not liking you or don't want to see your face and all that other stuff. But guess what? Let you become beneficial to their health, to their finances, to any other way that's going to help them in life. And they will get over whatever racial situations they may have. And it won't be anything but a relationship building. Why? Because you got my better interests in mind, and I respect that and I appreciate that. So guess what? I'm going to do the same for you. That seems to be where people are going nowadays. I think that's one of the positives toward how selfish people are starting to be nowadays, because everybody want their piece of the pie, but they're now seeing that they have to depend on other people who don't look like them in order to help them get there. And also, some people just want to live life and be cool, bro. Some people don't want to have to deal with the BS of the fakeness that's going on. Oh, so you're trying to say that just because I look like this, I can't be friends with somebody that look like this? Come on now, who are you? You did say this the land of the free, right? I'm free to be friends and love whoever I want to love. So, people just not standing for it no more. And at some point, I think it will be abolished because, people just going to be them. And if you're acting ignorant and worthy enough to get punched in your face, then, hey, so be it. You made a decision to say something to disrespect somebody that you knew would disrespect them. Now you got to face the consequences. But after you get up off the ground, shake hands, and move on with your day.
National security, right? So everything sort of becomes racism. So the problem with racism is nobody knows what it means anymore.
It don't mean anything.
Everything's racist. You could the Starbucks situation, which to me was not racist, was racist. Is that racism?
The Starbucks
We have to
that
define
wasn't
racism.
racist. You don't think that was racist?
No, I don't think that was racist. I live in Philly.
So you think if those were white dudes hanging out in Starbucks, not buying anything, just sitting down, mind their own business, that they would have got with the same exact energy?
So let's play a different picture. So first off, I live in Philadelphia. I'm not kidding. I wonder if sometimes when I'm there, I'm like, I wonder if any white people live here. Like Philadelphia is like, it's 44% black, not just excluding Hispanic, 44% black. It's unbelievable. Everyone who works in my build, everyone's black. It's like the weirdest thing. I'm like, this is a very black city, right?
Everybody's black. Blackity black, black. My shirt's black. My sweater's black. She black, he black, the baby black, the old lady black, the preacher black, the cops are black, the politicians are black. Yeah. I'm just seeing black every day gonna wear. Why are they so black?
It's a bizarre city to be racist, outright racist in. Like you're dealing with black people all day. So you remove that and then you think to me, and I've seen this happen tons of times, is it possible, right, that this guy was just on like a power trips happen. I've seen it happen at the most bizarre places. And I'm like, all right, like at the airport the other day, like this woman gave me absolute hell at TSA. I mean, it was like, I can't even recapitulate. It was just absolute hell.
I'm sorry, Candace, did you just now say that couldn't possibly be black because of the amount of black people there? I mean, couldn't possibly be being disrespectful towards somebody's race because there was too many black people there? There are some people who are blatant and don't give a damn. Like, look, I still don't like you. I don't care how many people around here. I think you should buy something or get the hell out. I'm not gonna call you that word, but hey, it is what it is. It might have been that. It might not have been, but it might have been.
Absolute hell at TSA. I mean, it was like, I can't even recapitulate. It was just absolute hell. I could have walked away and said she was racist and she randomly selected my bag 22 times to go through and made me go through and miss my flight, right? Or she was having a bad day and she was power tripping, you know? And when people have these little positions, it's like that movie where they go doorman, you know, like, and they have these little positions like the manager of Starbucks and you're having an off day. And these two kids, I could have easily said, oh, I'll buy a cookie, right? Like common decency, by the way, even for me, if I go use a bathroom at Starbucks, I'll just freaking buy a cookie or a little like juice box or water, just something that makes me feel, all right, it's a little more civilized if I just buy something, even though I'm just here to use the bathroom. Like, so on both ends.
If you got to pee real bad and there's a line.
Right, you go and then I'll probably sprint to the bathroom and then buy something afterwards. I do that. It's like a natural thing that like it's a little more.
Now, because of these guys, you could just be a homeless person, take a shower in the toilet.
It's because of outrage culture. It's an outrage culture. It's insane. Like my cousin who's half Mexican, half black, had to go through this training and she works for Starbucks. It's like.
Why do you talk so fast, young lady? We're going nowhere. I know we have to fill in some time on this show, but you don't have to talk so fast.
To me, it's just insane. It's like, is it possible that this guy was power tripping? These kids were being like, you know, they could have just bought something and it could have been resolved. But you have two people that are being stubborn and taking it to as far as possible. You know, talk about like hall monitor, like, you know, these are the rules, and it just got too far.
Well,
that could be a perspective.
That is possible, but it's also possible that they were racially selected.
Yeah.
That someone was racist.
Yeah.
They looked at them and they said, these guys are black.
Yeah, I
They're
think
probably
it's
up to
just
no
a hard
good. We don't want them sitting around here not buying anything.
How long were they
Call
sitting
the
there
cops.
again for? Could you remind me?
I don't know. Weren't they just waiting for their friend too? The whole thing didn't make any sense.
Yeah, but how long were they sitting there for? Because
I want to say 45 minutes, but that's like until the cops got there. Like they probably weren't. I mean, how long does it take to get the cops to come in Philly?
Right. So I'm just like, if you were sitting there, Philly. No, I don't know. I've never called the cops in Philly, but I do know that like Philly is it's a very black city.
Yeah, I go to Philly all the time.
It's a very black city. You know, I was there with Dave Rubin and
Jordan.
Shout out to all of my family members who are in Philadelphia. Shout out to y'all. Y'all are dope, man. Y'all are amazing. Y'all are a beautiful bunch of people. Absolutely. Especially since y'all got that whole blood in you. Absolutely. I know what I'm talking about. You know what I'm talking about.
Jordan Peterson.
Yeah, you know, I opened for them. And
Jordan
it's just,
Peterson.
You open for them? You do stand up? What are you doing?
Yeah, I should do stand up. I'd be good at it.
You think?
I'm funny.
Come out tonight. I'll get you up.
I'll do it. Oh wait, no, I can't because I have I'm going to Wyoming right after this.
Yeah. Do you have any ideas of what you would talk about if you went on stage?
I don't know. I would be really funny though. I'm like randomly really funny.
Randomly.
Yeah, I'm good at voices.
Randomly really
Not what
funny.
people pay.
No, I would be really good. Like I do really good voices.
I don't think you will be, Candace. You know you know what I mean. I'm starting to accept you into the family and everything. Figure out who you are and everything. But you won't be.
Like really good. Like I'm funny.
I'm inclined to believe that most people.
You know what? I'll take that back. She might. I'm not. I will never be the person to tell somebody they can't do what they think they want to do because they know more about themselves than anybody else. So you know what? It doesn't matter what I think. You know you can do it. I think you should do it one day. You think you're funny? You should go do it.
Like I do really good voices. Like really good. Like I'm funny.
I'm inclined to believe that most people think they would do really good at stand-up, but
it's
they
hard.
eat shit on stage.
It's hard, yeah, because they get nervous. Yeah,
Well,
I could see that. It could be just like I'm not funny anymore.
It seems.
I probably would be like a
something
drinker
it's
if
not.
I was on stage. I feel like I would be like that, like stereotypical comedian that just gets completely sloshed and goes out on stage.
Just to try to loosen up the vibes.
Yeah, I think it's a really hard thing to try to be funny in front of like a sold out room.
I think it's important to be objective, and I think it's important to look at something for what it really is. And I think it's highly possible that Starbucks thing was racist.
I see. I think it's
highly
just,
possible that
I think
it wasn't.
it's just as. Yeah, it's just as.
Possible.
But
You know what I'm noticing about their conversation? Their voices really complement one another. I don't mean this in a disrespectful way. Hopefully it doesn't come off that way. But their voices really complement one another. You got to listen to them, even if you don't agree. Even if you don't agree with either side. I mean, because they both, they probably lean toward the, politically, some ways, and some ways they don't. I'm thinking that more ways they don't than they do. But their voices really complement each other, especially with them talking over one another. And it's just listen, you'll see what I'm talking about.
because of outrage culture, here we are. It's got to be racist. It's like, yes, the chances. I'm just telling you, like. So a lot of black people that come in. I work from the Starbucks. I'm writing a book. I work from Starbucks all over Philadelphia. That's like what I do, right? And it.
Candace, what if it was though? What if it was? How about you just consider it? Just consider it. It could have been. It could not be. I know we want to say racism is not happening as much as y'all think it is. I don't particularly think it was racist, but because it's all these reasons and that reason and this reason and that reason and that reason. All these 50 million daggone reasons you're naming. But what if that person was actually attempting? It's very possible. And it's possible that they weren't. But it's also possible that they was. If there's a possibility to be had, then both sides deserve to be looked at to some degree. I know that makes absolutely no sense.
I mean, I work from the Starbucks. I'm writing a book. I work from Starbucks all over Philadelphia. That's like what I do, right? And it's just I don't know if there's any white people in Philadelphia. I'm constantly trying to find.
There definitely are. I did a show there recently.
Yeah,
a lot of white people.
What area of town were you in?
It wasn't the Tower Theater.
That's where we were.
Yeah, it was a lot of
inside
black
your
people.
thing, but they probably commuted.
Oh, they did.
Yeah,
that drive
but
to
outside
Tower Theater
where that is,
woo.
yeah, it's all black people. True
That's
or false? Yeah,
That's
so it's a
drive.
bizarre place. Thank you. Yeah, it's rough. It's really rough, and that's what people don't understand. I'm like, dude, like it's a weird place to come to if you're racist. It's just it's like really hard to be racist in Philadelphia because everyone's black. Like it's like
we went to the movies once and we saw Planet of the Apes actually, ironically, in a really black neighborhood, and then I was there for the UFC. And it was me and my friend Tommy from Connecticut, and we were looking for somewhere to go, and we went to this super black neighborhood, and it was a blast. These people, it was hilarious because I never go to all black movie theaters, but they were yelling at the screen. I mean, it became like. There was the audience that was entertaining, and then there was the movie entertaining. Like there's one scene in the movie where the Planet of the Apes what was the guy's name? Caesar got mad. He's like, "Oh, you up now!"
Yeah, always.
Like,
yeah.
And
it's so vocal.
And we were barbecued. We were high out of our mind. So the whole thing was like extra hilarious.
Black culture. This is the thing. It's so funny because so much of what I do is in.
That story right there was the story that people was trying to say that Joe Rogan was racist for. Was it that one? Like him talking about gorillas in a black neighborhood and being all black and stuff like that. I think I talked about that in one of my videos, man. People need to get over it. People are ridiculous. That came off to me as a really good story. I hope that wasn't it, because that just was a good story of why we was there, what we were doing, what was so funny, what it was about, how the person I'm talking to in this podcast can relate to it, and get into the conversation and without even being there. Like, that description was necessary. I think so anyway.
So the whole thing was like extra hilarious.
Black culture, this is the thing, it's so funny because so much of what I do is inspired by this. It's just like people like this, I guess, presentation of Black people in the media, it actually gets me mad because to me, and I could be biased, I think Black people are like the most like funny, like we're so funny, so endearing. Like when I'm around my cousins, like there's not a better time that I can have than when I'm around my family. We're not easily offended, right? We're constantly making fun of each other, making fun of other people. Like there's no one meaner.
Think Black people are portrayed?
Like victims. Like everything upsets us. Like we feel so oppressed. And I'm like, this is not like the Black community that I grew up in my family, and it's also not the Black community that's just like who we celebrate. Like I was watching, was it Chris Rock stand up, Bigger and Blacker? I watched that like from 1994. Classic. Like it is like the stuff that he said he could never say today. Just like because that is Black culture. Like he went there on every single race, every single culture, made fun of everybody, and it was beautiful. It was perfection. It was a sold out Apollo theater. He comes out and the first thing he says is like racial. He's like, "Oh, white people in the back today." You know what I mean?
Right.
And everyone gets up and starts cheering, and then he starts making fun of Black people about things that we need to fix. Right? He's using he's being funny, but he's also saying stuff that's real, talking about that baby mama culture and the difference between like the white community. He's talking about school shootings.
I think he could actually do that type of content. I mean, today, I think people are starting to be, everyone's starting to get off their high horses. That's probably the best way I can say it. Everyone seems to be getting off of their high horses.
It just like maybe it was Columbine that just happened, and he starts talking about that, and nobody was sensitive. Nobody in the audience was going, the NRA. You know what I mean?
Well, that.
So that NRA joke, that was one of her jokes that you all should be seeing when y'all go see her live doing her stand-up. You know what I mean? And she's going to be hilarious. She's going to be hilarious. You're going to be crying laughing when you go see her. Y'all let me know what y'all thought about that in the comments below. If you have yet to hit that subscribe button, please make sure you do so on your way out the door. That was a good conversation. I enjoyed having it with you all. I look forward to seeing you all in the next video, hopefully inside the Patreon as well. And feel free to stop past the website, www.lfrfamily.com. And just let me know what you think about it. All right. We have some things on there that I would love to introduce you to. But I'll see y'all. Love y'all.